Good morning, everyone. Okay, so we're going to the next chapter of our exploration into games. Okay, please someone remind me about when we reach about 8:35. Say attendance, okay? All right, because I might forget to take the lecture one. Okay. So last week we had a quick recap what we discussed. Like, so we had personal game history presentations, and I know I uploaded the YouTube late. I'm sorry I sent it late. I'm getting my rhythm. Okay, so now I got my rhythm a little bit, so it won't be late. I'll try to upload it ASAP. I'm kind of busy as well. So last week was pretty tough week. So anyway. As for your assessment sheets, I will be sharing them by this week. I'm a little delayed, a bit of technical glitch, but there's something else I need to. I'll add you in another web-based platform, which I will show you. I've already put all your names in, but I will need that platform makes it easier for me to keep track of each group. And it's sort of a gamified platform, so which means that I will give you the code to sign in later on. So, all right, without further ado, I'm just going to go on to the next chapter. But before we start, anyone here have any questions, particular questions about last week, about discussions last week? Anyone have anything to share, bring up? No? Okay. So today we're talking about three-dimensionality since the early 1990s. We go a little step back. I'm not going to go so detailed into the history part, but since the early 1990s, since my time, boomer time. Well, those were the early days of ID software, like first-person games, and it's very interesting because during the early times of the PC technology, the PC was new, and the advent of the PC, when they were advertising, hey, come and buy personal computers, that's when Steve Jobs, Bill Gates were like, Microsoft was booming, Apple's booming. So during those times, PCs were on sale, and when they're putting it on sale, one of the apart from playing videos on it, I mean, we were so, whoa, a smaller PC that can play videos. Wow. Yeah, so we were all like so excited about it. Believe me, it was such an amazing thing for us, like something magical. This is a box, and then next thing we also see a gun that's moving around like in first person, and that was called Wolfenstein 3D, and that was the first ever first person game, and it seems so 3D like because you're moving around, and there's his face at the bottom, BJ Blazkowicz. When enemies shoot, you bleed here a little bit, whatever. So it's very interesting. It's violent, but not so violent. It's an acceptable violence because everybody seemed to say, well, you're shooting Nazis. How violent can that be? Yeah, you took a chainsaw and cut the Nazis' limbs. That's fine, contemporary research, we are looking at context of specific violence, or why this violence occur, and how come they are the selling point for specific games during those times. So they can be seen in a lot of places, but you see, there was a time when violence, at some point it peaked when there were copycat violence. For example, from GTA, Vice City, we hear news about people going around and beating somebody with a baseball bat, and things like that. So copycat violences, and Quake came out. Quake was one of the earliest. Later on, after Wolfenstein, Quake was one of those early violent games. Doom was one of the very violent ones. Lots of blood splatter and stuff like that, screams. So it peaked at some point, and then there were a lot of criticism, why such violence? But the hypocrisy of the criticism was that in the art world, violence seems to be seen in a different context, which is very strange. So there's a sense of hypocrisy. At the same time, some say this and that. So there's a lot of debate about this, and it'll never end. There's always going to be continuing debates about this. So this means that when the advent of when technology advances, when you see how 8-bit gaming technology at one point moved on to 16-bit, then to 32, 64, 128-bit systems. Now we have computer systems. I mean, we have the PS5. No words can describe how tiny those pixels are, and pixels are getting tinier and tinier and tinier. I mean, polygons are getting smaller and smaller, and the smaller the polygons, the more realistic the images are. And those days, with 8-bit gaming technology, what can you see? Pong. And people play it today, so we have all those sort of things happening, but the advances of audio-visual technology was the key, because there is a yearning for us to want to see realism. You want to see something convincing, something that will persuade you to immersion, to immerse yourself. People want to escape. So as technology advances, now prior to high technology in computing, there is always the bulletin board RPG style text-based kind of RPG. Have you seen those? They're text-based RPG, kind of like Facade, but text only, So you have stuff like that. You have books called, I used to have an RPG book. I'm a character, I'm moving into this forest. If you want to go to that castle, turn to page 64, things like that. So you have those RPG books. We used to have those, but those captured our imagination, and we wanted to escape from our everyday life through these. Now, with advancing audiovisual technology, anything is possible. So you can see that's the 8-bit era. You can notice those are the consoles. Anyone collecting antique consoles here? There are those who are collecting antique consoles. You won't believe it. Some overgrown kids like myself. There's a lot of them in my generation that still have consoles like this. I still have the PS2. I sold the PS1. I regret it badly. So that's the Atari. There's a Magnavox. That's the Famicom, whatever. C64. I'm familiar with the C64 because that was one of the early PCs. And then, yeah, I've seen a cousin of mine having the Atari once, but there was Pong, and there were other games for it. Then later on, you went on to 16-bit, and you see some of these. None of you here have touched any of these consoles, right? Because these are super antique. All right? Yeah, I don't think so. So anyway, then we move on to 32-bit. Then you see consoles becoming more sophisticated. Now you see that's the, hang on, Sony PlayStation. That's the PlayStation 1. Now, I had that one. I owned that. The others, I'm not so interested, because that was like revolution for us, at that time. And one of my favorite games on that was Alone in the Dark. I remember that was one of my first games on the PlayStation 1. And then PlayStation 2. I'm still a PlayStation fan. I'm not so much of an Xbox person, but I do have an Xbox 360. But then the buck stops there. Nintendo, not so much of the Cube, but I do have the Nintendo 3DS. That's for my kids. They sort of play the Nintendo. The Dreamcast, not so much. But yeah, that's the 128-bit era. Okay. Then the current one, yeah, supposed to be updated now. It's updated, not PlayStation 3 anymore. It's from the year 2000s. Now we have the PS5. Then you have the PS4. Then you have newer consoles. You have the Steam Deck, etc. So this is now, okay, and that's the Sony PlayStation 5. Who owns one? Nobody owns one here?
I almost bought it.
You almost bought it. Yeah. I think that's one console that's worth owning, because it's just for gaming though. It's not for anything else. Yeah, and the number of things you can do with it, but only gaming. But the processing is good. This is coming out very soon, I think. It's out already? Damn, it's not. Is it being sold here now? Yeah. Is it being sold here? Oh no, PSVR. No, PSVR. Oh, sorry. PSVR 2 is not out. Sorry, PSVR is out. Yeah, long ago. But the PSVR graphic quality is not as good as the Oculus. If you want to see what the Oculus like, yeah, come to my lab. You can see it yourself. It's much better. So yeah, there you go. So consoles and PC. So there's this battle between the consoles and PCs until today. Who prefers PC? Who prefers console? Who are the PC? Who's the PC tribe? PC. Consoles. The rest consoles. Mobile phones. Yeah. Well. So there you go. So you can see the difference. I don't have to explain this. Now, one of the earliest games that dominated the PCs was strategy games. When I was in London, when I was studying in London, long time ago, one of the earliest games, one of the most popular strategy games, of course, apart from, I think that was back in 1992, something. I've seen Civilization, and I saw Firaxis games came out later in 95 or 94 or something. But Civilization, and there's one more, Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer, when it first came out, everybody was like, what is that war game thing? People stopped buying soldier toys. They started buying games like Command and Conquer. And that was one of the things that revolutionized the PC games, because people love the artwork. They like to play God. They like to be in charge of something. They want to see, I'm able to move that truck over there, and the truck opens up, the animation, it opens up and it turns into a base. That was so fascinating. And I'm able to create soldiers at will. Oh my God, it's like, the feeling, like you are in power, and that's how they advertise that you have the power in your hands to do that. And for Civilization, that's one of the earliest game art for Civilization. You literally take over a whole country. So these are some of the game arts for Doom. Yeah, this is Doom. You can't see it clearly. You could switch off one of those lights. Now, you can still download this and play it. Yeah, it used to be shareware. I think now it's probably freeware. You can still download and play Wolfenstein as well. And the Doom aesthetics, basically you can see the Doom aesthetics is very much towards fighting demons and things like that. So yeah, the rest is history, really. And this is one of the examples of a Doom level design. So maps are also useful in games during those times, because people want to find their way around, and people were pretty much excited about exploring another world. See, when technology increases, the ability to create or craft a 3D environment is, becoming much more of a reality. So then you see something like Lara Croft, because now you see a much more open environment. Then third-person view, then from first person to third-person view, that was happening during the time. So why, either way, right, whether it's first-person or third-person view, the need for immersion is still there. For some reason, people want to have some sense of sensory immersion. One of the important aspects of games which I've always noticed is sound. But there's of course, for those who were hearing impaired, they only could see it visually. So that's probably why some consoles have vibration or things that vibrate. So, but sound is also very important because without sound, it kills the immersion. With sound, you can hear, especially with 3D sound. Do you play games with 3D sound? Especially those horror survival games. Try playing it with 3D sound. Yeah, it's quite immersive. So challenge-based immersion, actions of play, flow experiences. These are some of the characteristics of a specific game design. Now, so one of these things, one of the important things about game design is replayability. So with such sensory immersions, those days there is this drive to create a replayable game. What makes a game replayable when it comes to this sort of components, especially sensors, optimizing something that appeal to your senses. Now some games as well during that time, they didn't really appeal to the masses, not everybody. So you'll be disappointed at some point. But let's say if you know how to code, so you can see mods. How many of you play Sims without mods? Yeah, everybody plays Sims with mods, either cheats or mods. Now I remember when I played Wolfenstein, I had to find a cheat code because there's a God mode where they shoot you and you're God basically. And there was one time I played Doom God mode. I can walk through walls and everything, pretty much do anything. I felt nauseous afterwards because I went high up, I went through the walls, I just couldn't handle it. So mods have become very popular up to this day. Now, especially Grand Theft Auto. For Amirul here? Yeah, I won't ask you. I don't know how you do it, seriously. Okay. Hang on. Yeah, so basically that's all for today's chapter. Now today's chapter talks about specific. Hey, hang on. I missed out this slide. Okay. Never mind. We'll talk about this slide next time. This is a little bit advanced. Okay. So as a quick recap, we talk about three-dimensionality. Now, when we speak about three-dimensionality, we are looking at games or the context of three-dimensionality in games. It's hard to put it in the right words, but this is basically based on your experience. Now, I think the key word is experience. Now, we start off the word experience because you need to play to know. You need to learn by playing, learn by doing, as you know that. But the other aspect to seeing three-dimensionality is not confining the game to just from start to finish. Okay, not confining the game to like say I'm going to start this game, I'll throw a dice, and then I'm just move to the next step. I'm just going to move on there. Now if that's the kind of game that you're creating, that's purely ludology. Now ludology means play. So you just want to play. Now everybody plays. If somebody were to say to you that, hey, I'm not a game person, I don't play games, that's a lie. You play games every day, even by words. You play. You like to play, right? So you take a book. Here, hold my phone. Woohoo! Like, no. Right? That's play too. Try to catch my phone. No. Okay, how about high five? Yeah, high five. Woo, I missed. You missed. You missed. Try to catch my hand again. Oh, you caught it. Score. Okay. That's ludology. Ludology is play. But three-dimensionality very much refers to narratology. Narratology means you create ludology out of any part of your story. Okay, if Taylor's University is your open world map, then if you're walking around and you see the gardener, so you sort of like you saw the gardener washing off something on the floor, then he turns around, then you intentionally put some dirt over there, back there again, then he'll turn around and say, oh, there's still the dirt there, you keep washing it off. So you're playing a prank on the gardener, then you create a sense of play within the story in the open world map. Okay, so when you're thinking of your game design or your game concept, just remember to think of the story. Think of the story and make it more three-dimensional. So remember, 3D doesn't necessarily mean 3D graphics. Your concept, you're looking at horizontal. You look at vertical. You're looking at 360 thinking. Okay, so that's three-dimensionality. So see things in 3D. Understand experiences can be in 3D. All right. So when you do that, you might come up with something that quite surprising. Yeah, and that sense of surprise makes your game very unique. So let's see what you come up with. So this is one of the things. Now, further about gameplay experience, we'll talk about the following chapter next week, because experience is key. Yeah. So now, for exercise 345, I'm going to explain to you what you need to do for exercise 345. Now, I'll upload this video afterwards. Yeah. Now, exercise 3. Now you know what to do for exercise 2. Yeah. Now, if you're not sure, you can watch the video in the YouTube link that I sent. All right. Now, remediating non-digital games. So your mission here is to identify a non-digital game. Okay. Now all this goes into your blog, your e-portfolio. This goes into your group contributions. All exercises can be done in groups, okay? But you also can write about something further about it for your own individual pages, all right? So identify a non-digital game. What is a non-digital game that you can identify that's never been translated into a digital format? Anyone? Any games? Find it, okay? Which has been successful. It could be a new one, could be an old game, we don't know. Now, but identify a non-digital game which has been successfully converted into a digital game. Okay, so find one that's been converted into a digital game, and whether it's successful or not, find that one game, discuss this in your video review. Now, there are games, the games that has never been converted into a digital game can be quite rare to find because we are living in the digital age. A lot of these games, like for example, like Catan, right? Catan, Settlers of Catan, something like civilization game, but board game. So some of these board games are now digital game. Classic one is Warhammer. Have you seen the Warhammer board game? With all the figures and everything, the massive stuff. They have tanks, they have armies. So now they have a digital version. Warhammer, my goodness, they have so many of it right now. So you have some of these games. Now discuss this in your video review. That means create a video review about it. Talk about discuss it. Now exercise 4. Now what is exercise 4? Now exercise 4 is about digital games evolution and revolution. Choose a digital game which you think has undergone transformation. Like what digital games that has undergone transformation or developed into a game which has very high ratings today? Uncharted. Oh, my favorite. Yeah, and real-time and turn-based strategy. Which one? Okay, so discuss and discuss why and how in your video review as a team. Yeah, as a team. Exercise 5. Games in extended realities. I was using the Oculus the other day, and I went to SideQuest. So in SideQuest, there's this amazing, like this game where, you know, in Oculus you have a pass-through where you can actually look through the, you see the real world through the small cameras. So that game, apparently you could do that and play with Tetris-like puzzles. And you can use it because it has hand tracking, and I could do that. That's an extended reality game. That's probably that's basically a game being played in augmented reality. So what if you have explored that? So this exercise 5, you need to explore VR and mixed realities. And there may be board games that has augmented reality applications on it. So which means that when you play those board games, you wear special specs, like Tilt 5. Have you seen Tilt 5? Check it out. Google it. TILT 5. Tilt 5, number 5. Tilt 5 or Tilt 5. Tilt 5. Now they have these special glasses, and you can play the board game like 3D. Like it looks like that scene in Star Wars where Chewbacca was playing this those creatures, you know, moving on the so something like that. So review a game which has VR, virtual reality, or mixed reality support, or augmented reality, and discuss this. Is this going to, where is this going? Is this going to stay, or is this VR game going to be the most revolutionary game? Have you experienced an entire story-based game in VR? Okay, so all these questions. So you can, basically what you need to do is maybe try it out and then write about it. Okay. Attendance. Just nice. Yeah, attendance. I got to get a wireless one, you know. This one is. Okay. So after attendance, anybody wants to share your personal game history? Some of your personal game history presentations are also in the YouTube channel. No, it's not made public. You haven't presented yet, right? Oh, you did, right? Yeah. I'm not sure which one is that video though. Wait, let me check.
I'm the one who got banned.
You got banned? You got banned from GTA for a month. What did you do there, man?
I cheated. It was online. But like I only played with my
You shouldn't.
I only played with my friends.
Yeah. But
I don't know, Rockstar is they're weird. I get it, it's just
because you are on a public server.
yeah.
That's why. So they must have detected you.
Yeah. Me and my friend, we were like flying. Controlling the plane. And then like we were playing, three of us.
Oh.
One of us was controlling the plane. I was like
And you were outside the plane.
and then we got locked out, and then
Oh my God.
our friend was stuck there.
Oh no. Yeah, so this is all. Yeah, so this some of our group discussions are here. Okay, so today's one will be uploaded here as well.